Hello, ladies and gents. Oh, good evening. All right, thank you, John.
Why?
Yeah, you don't wanna match somebody that's close.
No, I did.
There you go.
Okay. All over it.
How are you, sir?
He was in a fail car.
Huh?
How are you, sir? Good. Good to see you. Yeah, I met you before, on the radio, right? Yeah.
And get on with your life. It's 30 minutes. I'm sorry.
Whatever, got to go away stuff. Yeah, he's always qualified.
Okay. All right, I'll let it up. Yeah.
You have it?
How are you, man? Doing good. Running people over.
GLO, no, we're doing that next, we're talking about next week. We haven't even put out our.
But they may not want to. Just get ready to work. What's happening?
Just under 2,000.
City council members. We ask for your wisdom to guide their decisions, that they may act with integrity and discernment. in all matters before them. Grant them clarity of thought and a spirit of unity as they work together for the betterment of our community. May their deliberations be just and fair, reflecting your love and compassion for all. We ask this in your holy name. Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
public comment on item 5, public comments and receipt of petitions. At this time, anyone will be allowed to speak on any matter other than personnel matters. Any matter not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere on the agenda or matters under litigation for a length of time not to exceed 4 minutes. No council, board discussion, or action may take place on a matter until such matter has been placed on an agenda and posted in accordance with the law, Texas Government Code 551042. We're going at 6:02. And we have Carlos.
Hi.
Aguilar.
Aguilar, good. Hi, I'm
You can take the podium.
Okay. This on. Okay. I'm Carlos Aguilar with a company called Freeman Milliken. I had the privilege of meeting Mr. Billy, Ms. Janice, Ms. Christie, with we hosted a few city manager luncheons through Ellis County, usually put on through Keith Whitney over at the City of Whitney. He kind of organizes that stuff, and so we are the consulting engineer for a lot of communities out this way. We help them out with everything from plan review to infrastructure projects, ranging from street, water, sewer, drainage, development, things like that. And so I've had the privilege of meeting some of your team in the past, and I kept telling them, hey, I'm gonna come out and say hi to everybody, introduce myself. In 4 minutes is usually not long enough for me to talk, and I love this time. So I just wanted to introduce me. My name's Carlos. Our firm is called Freeman Milliken. We've been in business for 40 years. We're based in Dallas, and like I said, a lot of our clients are this way, out this way, in North Texas, also like going up north, like towards Oklahoma, some to the east, a little bit to the west. One of our managing partners is the mayor of Ovilla right now, and so we have a real good feel for this part of the world. And so just wanted to introduce myself and make myself available if there's ever any need for you that you guys have out here in the City of Whitney. So thank you so much for the time to introduce myself.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Karen Wilson.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to say a few words. I am very concerned about our streets. Over here on Texas and Street, right at the end of it, I go that way all the time to get out on the highway. There's a big old pothole there. And they come by and put dirt in it or something, and it lasts about 2 weeks until it rains again. And I don't know why we can't get our streets in town fixed better with all the sales tax money that comes in. And speed bumps is not the answer. That just weakens your car running if you hit them. Even at 15 miles an hour, they don't do your car any good. And I'm concerned that we're not keeping our city as neat and clean as it needs to be because of all the brush piles see that councilman and mayor have, and time that we can come and visit with y'all privately or in person, so we can let our feelings be made known. Because we are the taxpayers, and I think we're being overlooked on a lot of things. Thank you.
Teresa Wyatt.
My name is Teresa Wyatt, and I'm here today to speak about something that should concern every property owner, business operator, and citizen of Whitney. In my opinion, I feel like the city is biased and has double standards in how the city enforces its codes and who it chooses to enforce them against. And reference to 109 West Washington, which used to be the Lakelander building. In December of 2023, American Green Industries purchased that property from the Lakelander newspaper. We were excited, saw so much potential, we saw an opportunity to preserve a historic part of downtown and invest in its future. But what we didn't expect was to be blindsided by the City of Whitney on the very day that we closed. Here's the timeline. In July 2023, months before we entered this picture, the Lakelanders Insurance Company sent a letter to the City of Whitney warning of a roof issue, a possible collapse, a safety concern. The city received it and did absolutely nothing. No action, no pressure to repair. The Lakelander continued business as usual. Fast forward to December 2023, we buy the building, and the very day of closing, suddenly the city code enforcement officer, David Gilmore, at the time, had zero formal training in code enforcement, but he shows up threatening that he's gonna tear our building down. Just like that, no warning, no dialogue, no attempt to work together. The building that was fine yesterday suddenly became a public hazard. Why? What changed? Not the building, what changed was the owner. This is where the double standard to me comes in. When the property belonged to the Lakelander, an established local entity that gave special consideration to certain businesses such as the Chamber of Commerce, the city sat on its hands. But at the moment ADI took it over, the city sprang into action, not to help but to hinder. They didn't just demand to repair it. No, they insisted we hire a structural engineer in order to save it. Then that engineer had to draw up formal plans, then and only then would the city consider allowing the building to be repaired. The damage was visible, obvious. The repairs were straightforward, but instead of letting us handle it like most reasonable cities would, they threw red tape and thousands of dollars were spent unnecessarily. That's not code enforcement, that's bias enforcement, that's official oppression. This is not just about one building, it's about a city government using its authority unfairly, picking and choosing who gets cooperation and who gets roadblocks. It's about businesses being punished for trying to invest when not part of the inside click. It's about untrained officials making arbitrary decisions that cost real people real money. The message the City of Whitney sent is loud and clear. If you're not part of the inner circle, expect to fight. Well, we believe in fairness, we believe in applying the law evenly, not selectively. And we believe every citizen, newcomer or legacy, deserves to be treated with respect, not suspicion. The city can do better, it must do better. Because it isn't just about bias, it's about trust. And once trust is lost, it's hard to rebuild. Thank you.
Thank you. Move on to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion. Should the council member decide discussion of any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. 6, act on approving the regular city council.
I'd like to pull 7.
Okay. Line item 6, act on approving the regular city council meeting minutes for the regular meeting on June 18, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the regular city council meeting minutes from the regular meeting on June 18, 2025.
Second.
Amy?
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Valerie?
Yes.
All yeses, motion passes.
Item 7, act on approving the City of Whitney expense reports and register reports for June 2025.
So I was looking at the check register, and we have the Texas Municipal League, down here for $21,796.25. And I am familiar with the Texas Municipal League, but I was hoping that just by way of some transparency, and since we already did one training this last week with them on the budget discussion, if we could give the public just a quick overview of what we're getting, when we're paying Texas Municipal League.
So a portion of that is our work comp insurance for the employees, and the other portion is our liability insurance, whether it be property, auto, cybersecurity, all of that, it's our insurance for the whole city.
If I may, CDML also offers multiple things for municipalities that keep us up to date with legislative updates, what's going on in Austin. They hold an annual conference, which we are able to get training at, as well as they host training classes online. Another thing is TML helps really with a lot of the smaller cities like ourselves, because legislation in Austin right now is really targeting the larger municipalities because they have been abusing certain aspects of the law, and Texas Municipal League is able to go in and lobby on behalf of smaller municipalities such as ourselves that just do not have those resources available.
Thanks, guys. And I did notice that TML, on their webinars, they have one, it's $45. It's a webinar that's titled Personnel Records in the Public Information Act, what's public and what's confidential. In light of the concerns we had at the last meeting, I'd like to suggest that we set up another council training just with that one, so everybody's on the same page about how that works.
Thank you.
And if there's no other discussion, I'll move adoption.
Thank you.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was the second? Second.
Amy?
No.
Vicky?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Valerie?
Yes.
We've got 3 yeses, 1 no, motion passes.
Department reports, mayor report, which one will be first? In the early morning hours on July 14, 2025, members of the Whitney, what are we doing? In the early morning hours on July 14, 2025, members of the Whitney Fire Department were dispatched to area of FM 933 and Thousand Trails for a traffic hazard. The creek in the area quickly crested the bank, causing FM 933 to become flooded, causing the hazard. Several calls came into Hill County Sheriff's Office stating there was a vehicle in the water. Whitney Fire Department members quickly acted to remove the victim from the rushing water and return them to safety. Captain Jason Bird entered the water with Captain Kevin Frege maintaining land safety. Firefighter Allie Hancock assisted with safety precautions along with Hill County Sheriff's Deputy Kyle Gottschalk. Chief Waylon Price was in command of the successful rescue of the victim. The victim was safely returned to shore and assessed by medical personnel. The victim was unharmed. Chief Waylon Price for acts of bravery, heroism, courage, and selflessness. Firefighter Allie Hancock for acts of bravery, heroism, courage, and selflessness. This one hits hard, y'all. This is my granddaughter.
Thank you.
Captain Kevin Free J for acts of bravery, heroism, courage, and selflessness. And also Captain Jason Bird, he's not here, for acts of bravery, heroism, courage, and selflessness. Thank you all. Thank you.
We're real proud of you. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
You look like you're frowning. Not a mug shot.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to say that I received a personal phone call from Hill County Emergency Management, and they wanted to really express how well these firefighters did during that time frame, that they reacted without being told what to do. They did it professionally and safely, and that they stayed off the radio because it was a really hard time to communicate, and that they just did what they needed to do, and they knew what they needed to do and made it happen. So thank you very much. Good job.
Madam Mayor, can I say one quick comment?
Sure.
Whose grandson was it that attended the library event with me? I did a presentation on emergency services, and I tell you, your grandson actually should have been the presenter. Every time I had a question for the kids, he raised his hand and he had great answers. And the other adults really noticed and paid attention, and I'm very proud that he knows so much. I have a feeling he's gonna follow in your footsteps.
Oh,
Thank
Lord,
you.
help us all. Our
Our
next is City of Whitney proclamation, whereas amateur radio operators worldwide are celebrating over a century of the remarkable achievement of transmitting the human voice across airwaves. And whereas amateur radio continues to provide a bridge among people, societies, and nations, fostering friendship and the exchange of ideas. And whereas amateur radio operators have devoted countless hours to public service, providing vital assistance in emergencies and supporting local organizations over many decades. And whereas these valuable services are offered wholly without compensation by dedicated volunteers. And whereas the state of Texas and the city of Whitney recognize the important contribution of amateur radio operators to our emergency response organizations, including the Whitney Amateur Radio Club. And whereas these individuals further serve the public by providing free communication for local parades, bike-a-thons, walk-a-thons, fairs, and other charitable and public events. And whereas the city of Whitney appreciates the vigilance of these hams who also serve as weather spotters for Skywarn programs of the National Weather Service. And whereas ARRL sponsors the annual Amateur Radio Field Day exercise, which has already taken place, as a 24-hour demonstration of emergency preparedness and the self-sufficiency of radio amateurs to provide communication without reliance on existing infrastructure. Therefore, I, Janice Sanders, Mayor of the City of Whitney, Texas, do hereby proclaim the week of June 22nd, June 29th, 2025 as Amateur Radio Week in the City of Whitney. Do we have somebody here to accept this?
Thank you for all you do for us.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Hopefully not your last. we do, you gotta take
I'll
it. Just kidding. Thank you, we appreciate you. Okay. Another City of Whitney proclamation, whereas the City of Whitney has long been a beacon of community spirit, resilience, and pride, and whereas the Battle of the Benches, a unique and exciting annual event, has become a beloved tradition, bringing together residents and visitors to celebrate our city's rich heritage, creativity, and camaraderie. And whereas this year marks the 103rd anniversary of the Battle of the Benches, an extraordinary milestone in our community history, when in 1949, the men of Whitney stood up for their rights against the ladies of the town to keep the bench that they sat on every day to do their whittling, spitting, and using bad language as they saw fit. Whereas in 1949, Life magazine highlighted the Battle of the Benches by providing a magazine article putting Whitney on the map. And whereas the 103rd anniversary of this momentous event provides an opportunity for the younger generation to learn local history to pass down for generations. And whereas the residents of Whitney, along with our friends and visitors, will gather on July 26th to be a part of this event as we celebrate Whitney's Battle of the Benches. Now therefore, I, Janice Sanders, Mayor, City of Whitney, Texas, do hereby proclaim July 26, 2025 as Battle of the Benches Day in the City of Whitney, and urge all residents, visitors, and supporters to join in the celebration, show their support, and continue to honor this cherished tradition which enriches the community, the heart in our community.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Saturday at 10 a.m. Is there somebody here to present this? Ann?
And we are having a party at 10 a.m. Free cake for everybody.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Will that also coincide with the market being open on Saturday?
Farmers market is 8 to 12, bench will be at 10, right in the middle, so we'll have the cake out there in the middle of the farmers market.
Okay, thank you.
Next report is administration.
Well, I don't know how you follow up the Battle of the Benches, because that is quite a time of history here in Whitney. I wanted to give the council and the citizens a quick update. Obviously, we've been working on, in collaboration with the county, on reconstruction of what used to be named Hill County Road 1240, which the council changed the name to Wildcat Drive, actually in 2008, but you know what, we ratified that under this administration to get that name changed. So we're going to do a unveiling ceremony in collaboration with the county as well as the school district. We've invited the school board members to come out and be a part of that, so we're going to do a roadside unveiling August the 4th at 11 a.m. Please let Christy know if council you plan to attend so we can get a notice of possible quorum up, and we'll go from there. We're hoping that they're going to have all of this road construction done by that time. That was the intent. The intent was to get this road construction taken and done before school started, and we're very thankful for the partnership with the county. Commissioner Holcomb has spearheaded this for us, and thank you to the council for approving a permanent solution to a highly traveled road. They're going to be doing hot mix asphalt down there. It should last a long time, so we're very excited about that. Also, so the question was asked at the last meeting, when were the budget workshops? So I'll reiterate the times and dates of the budget workshops that will be coming up next month. August 12th at 10 a.m. at City Hall. And the next one is August 26th at 1 p.m. at City Hall. Today we received our certified tax rolls, so now we have some numbers to look at together and go from there. So with that being said, I yield.
Department of Emergency Services. Robert.
Good evening, honorable mayor and council members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. So in June, we ran a total between fire and EMS, 193 calls. On the EMS side, we ran 67 calls, 60 was in the city, 7 was out in the county mutual aid with CareFly. Our average response time on the EMS side in the city was 4.5 minutes, and in the county was 8 minutes. On the fire side, we ran 126 calls. We ran 13 fire calls in the city, 11 fire calls in the county. On the first responder calls, we ran 54 first responder calls in the city and 48 first responder calls in the county. We're getting ready for grass season with the dryness that's coming up, so we're gearing up for that.
Thank you. Police department report. Chief.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. June 2025, Whitney Police Department responded to a total of 317 calls for service or incidents, most of them, as usual, disturbances, assaults, motor vehicle crashes, and alarms. Made a total of 3 arrests, along with 170 traffic stops, resulting in 202 citations and warnings. On the animal control code enforcement side, actual animal control calls for service, we had 2. One involving some chickens, and the other one was a welfare concern on an animal. Code enforcement actual calls for service is 1, someone calling about tall grass, and self-initiated, which is me going out and about. 29 calls for service, which is close to tall grass because of all the rain's been going on, and 4 for all the junk property. And of course, as before, we do have several properties that still do have the brush on the side of the road.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Public Works. Chris.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Last month we had 2 water leaks. We installed 1 sewer tap, 1 water tap. Make sure the report has been covered already. I'll skip that. We had 9 water calls, 6 sewer calls. Our water tank inspections are complete. Just the TCQ requirement every year that we have to fulfill. And I'm still down currently 2 staff members.
Thank you. Library report. Christie, with the city.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens. Thank you for the time. In June of 2025, your library issued 47 new library cards, served 1,231 individuals. 92 of those visitors were strictly using the computers. 81 needed some reference assistance. We had 27 unique events and programs with 277 visitors during those programs. Just over 1,300 items, physical items checked out. We still support 14 local authors. We've heard of a couple new ones that we'll be getting in. Actually, we got a new one in, so in July, that number will update. I had 1 outreach visit for 2 outreach hours. 6 volunteers worked for a total of 22 volunteer hours. We did not have any staff or director CE hours. In the month of June, we had a total of $49 in late funds collected, and our total funds for copy and print services were $313.80.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Municipal court.
Yes. For the month of June, we had 66 citations, with a total, collections of $5,085.10.
We're gonna move over into our regular agenda, line item 8, presentation by Greg Brown of Evolve Energy on long-term energy rates of the City of Whitney. You made it.
I made it.
You can take the podium.
Okay.
Well, if you have handouts, we can do that too.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
thank you, Mayor, Council, citizens, for inviting me out here. In the upcoming years, I know everybody's hearing about these new data centers that are coming in, a lot of interest in moving to Texas for different rates, as far as taxes, electricity, a lot of things that we are already seeing has changed. I'm not originally from here, did 25 years in the Marine Corps, so I placed myself in the best place I could possibly, I think it's Texas. So, as I started working for this, energy company, we do a lot of solar. And one of the things that we're trying to do is make sure that we're able to offset some of the costs that's gonna end up happening in the near future. Some of the diagrams I gave you, that's the school that we're actually working with, and also the, diagram of what we actually transpired. What I'd like to do is, if you guys are wanting to just find out, get the locations and electric bills on your city buildings, what we would do is, and obviously there's no cost until you decide you want to do something. I can present that also later. But basically, we will go through and make a design, look at how much electrical usage you guys are going through. There could be also the add-on of generators, and/or batteries for specific things in your infrastructure that you're wanting to make sure the electricity does go down, that you're still able to run everything. So we can do preliminary plans on that. Two ways of doing it is, one is cash. The other way is work with a energy company called Amper. So for people who are deregulated, you can pick whatever energy provider you want. Amper actually helps out. So you actually pay zero for the solar, and usually we can drop the cost down about 15%, depending on what it is. The demand rates right now we're finding out is becoming very interesting to handle. Because they usually pull the numbers at the hottest day in August, the hottest 4 days in August, and they average that out throughout the year. And that becomes your demand. So we're trying to find a way to fix that. And the only really real good solution is having batteries to lower it during that one period of time, and then you have batteries for the rest of the time. But we're actually working with a couple different schools, a couple different municipalities, and you guys are in my area. I live in Hillsborough, so I'm like, okay, let's see what what I can help you guys out with. If I look at the electric rates and I'm not able to help you or get you guys lower, no harm, no foul. But we don't know what we don't know. So I figured I'd give that to you, let you guys look at it, and just let me know what you think.
Thank you.
You guys have any questions for me?
Thank you. Thank you. Line item 9, discussion on citizens agenda, item request submitted by Diane White at 201 North Colorado concerning 115, 117 West Washington, currently owned by the City of Whitney, and its current state that directly affects her property.
My name is Diane White, and I'm here tonight on behalf of American Dream Industries, but also as a concerned citizen who has witnessed firsthand the harm and the double standards and biased enforcements can do, not just to businesses, but to the integrity of our city government. Let me begin with a simple question. What is the purpose of code enforcement? At its core, it's meant to protect the public, ensure property values, and preserve and maintain the dignity and the safety of our town. But when those powers are applied unfairly, they become tools of intimidation, and that's what's been happening right here in Whitney. Let's start with the building at 117 West Washington Avenue. What was once the mustard seed marketplace, property taken by threats from the code enforcement or fines. Here's the kicker for $1. Purchase price for market value of $160,000 for tax roll. The building has been sitting vacant since 2018 due to despair. Over the last 7 years, multiple code violations have been reported, serious ones, but the city took no action, no follow-up, no fines, no inspections, nothing. That building remains a blight on downtown, dragging down the value of neighboring properties and signaling that in Whitney, enforcement depends on who you are and not what you've done. Now, contrast that with what happened just 5 doors down at 105 West Washington, when ADI purchased a building that had been closed for over a decade. We immediately began cleaning it out, trying to invest in Whitney's downtown, improve the area, and do our part. But we were stopped. We were told we needed a permit to throw away trash. Why? Because someone made a call to City Hall, specifically a close friend of the mayor, Debbie Ost, who rents the space between two ADI buildings. And from that point forward, nearly every time ADI wanted work on our property, she was either calling City Hall or the police, and the city always responded. Just a point of reference, Debbie Ost had 3 safety violations that the city refused to address, both deadly health hazards, including an open to the violation that the city refused to address, open to the weather, a 220 volt electrical connection that David Gilmore said he could do nothing about. ADI was forced to contact OSHA after the city attorney told us the city did not have to address it and to call whoever we wanted. After our OSHA complaint, it was repaired. When we requested a meeting with Code Enforcement Officer David Gilmore and City Operations Manager Billy Cribble to resolve these issues, we came prepared. We cited the International Building Code, the very same code the City of Whitney has adopted. We showed clearly and professionally that we were being subject to arbitrary requirements. But rather than acknowledge the facts, we were told absurdly that we even needed a permit to paint. That's right, a permit to paint. Later, Mr. Cribble stood in a public council meeting and claimed it was just a rumor that such a permit was required. But that's not true, because we have the audio recording of him and Officer Gilmore saying exactly that. That wasn't a misunderstanding, that was a pattern of targeting those who are not in favor with the current mayor or her allies. And let's be clear, these actions have cost ADI financially. They have delayed our projects, deferred investments, damaged our reputation, all because we weren't on the right side of local politics. That's not just unethical, it's un-American. You all are stewards of this city, and you took an oath to serve all citizens fairly. I'm not gonna ask y'all to live up to that oath, because I'm sure that I'm not taken seriously this afternoon. But I can assure you, I have a big investment in downtown Whitney, and I'm not here to tear down the city. I probably have a bigger investment than most of you, and I will go into that if anybody is really interested in that. But I do have some other questions regarding this specific Mustard Seed building. How does this purchase affect the city finances? Will or did the city report actual purchase price of $1? And how does it go down on the city books? Purpose of buying the building when the city has no money to repair, and several other projects including water and roads, which there is also no money. City has owned building for about 7 months now with no reported improvements. How is the city able to delay repairs indefinitely when the paying owner was not allowed to do so? Tenants of leased property from ADI have also requested code enforcement on several occasions with no response. Agents of the city are no longer here. What I'm trying to say is the agents of the city that are no longer here cannot be dismissed as nothing ever happened. Just because they're not here, they did do these things. And it can't be just wiped away like it never happened. what the city reports and the truth in the matters is what upsets the people in the street and what needs to be changed. There is nothing wrong for taking accountability at city government and admitting when something goes wrong. That is much more acceptable than double downing and deceit. What is the overall plan for this building and estimated cost? This building brings down property values for all of downtown business owners or property owners. I don't want y'all to take this as a negative, because I want Whitney, I want Whitney to grow and prosper, and I personally have done a lot to see that happen with the way that I handle my business with this property that I own. And you can take an attitude, whether it's positive or negative, and many of you already have decided which that's gonna be, but I can guarantee that it is not my intention, but to see things done right and equally to each citizen. Thank you very much.
Ms. Wyatt, real quick before you leave. Can you share, just for the record, how many downtown buildings American Dream Industries owns?
10.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions?
Oh, I have plenty. Okay, so, you say that the property is diminishing the value of your 10 buildings that you own. Sounds like you're ready to produce proof of that. Can you tell me how it's diminishing your value? Because I say, Ms. Wyatt, on Hill County Appraisal District, your tax rolls have gone up every year, so I'm just asking, how is it diminishing the value of your property?
Well, first of all, I can tell you that when I go to the tax people, I take pictures of those properties, and I don't pay as much taxes because of that. What they do with other people is different, but I start out at a much lower rate than most people do, because I look at all of the buildings downtown, the Coons building, the winery, all of these buildings that nobody has ever even gone in and done a fire inspection on. That's why I think it's bringing the property value down. And plus, you can look at the building in downtown and it's a eyesore, and it's no way that it could improve the value of any business downtown.
Okay, and when we reached out, we actually, so just for the record, so everybody's clear as to why the city or how the city obtained this building, Chief Gilmore was doing downtown inspections, and he had contacted the property owner of that building to let him know that we were going to be doing an inspection and whatever. The property owner received a phone call, I believe, from one of your employees that offered to buy the building and told him that the city was going to push him out of the building. Is that true?
No.
The city, the owner of that building, then offered it to the city. That's how the city came to that building.
That is not what the owner of that building had talked to us directly. So there's a conflict with our conversation.
It sounds like there's a lot of conflict. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that this was brought to the council over several meetings to discuss, and it was made very clear to the council that if the city did decide to go down this path, that it would be a significant investment on the city's behalf. The council is the one that decided if they wanted to move forward with this or not. Not me, not the mayor. The council runs the city, and they're the ones that made the decision to move forward with this. This happened over a course of 6 or 7 meetings where we discussed this building. Again, as it has been stated and published in the paper multiple times, to answer your question as to why nothing's being done, because things don't happen overnight in city government. There are proper procedures that we have to follow. First of all, like getting an asbestos inspection. We had to do that. We put it out for bids, asked people to respond for that. We didn't get anybody. Therefore, we had to seek somebody. We got that asbestos report back in April. In May, we received a bid on what it would take to mitigate that asbestos. That bid was presented last month to the council. So we're not sitting on our hands, not doing anything, just like everybody assumed we were doing with the wastewater plant. So So we don't know what the purpose of that building is gonna be yet. We have no idea, it's never been discussed. As was talked about last month, it might be a community center. It just depends on, once we get the asbestos done, and once we get the asbestos mitigated, how much is it gonna cost to restore the building? Because we're looking for a general contractor that can tell us that. There's a process. It's not like running a business. City government is very different. If it's over $50,000, you have to put it out for bid. Now the legislature just changed that in September to where it'll be $100,000. It's gonna cost more than $100,000 to fix that building. That was made very clear to the council. What are the other questions you had that I can try to answer?
Well, first of all, let me say that I don't understand why you would not do a engineering, before you did the asbestos. I do not believe that building is sound. As a matter of fact, it has some bricks falling off of the front of it right now onto the roofing or the awning. I don't believe it's sound. Your prior code enforcers actually has said to us that they can't do the cleanup behind that building or cut down that tree because they think the back of the building would fall off, which it has before. It has fell off before, and that was not fixed properly. I can also tell you that we went in and had the engineers, what is that? Structural engineers, everything that you required us to do. We had the structural engineers, we had the asbestos on both of our buildings. We had it done in less than 3 weeks. We don't have the clout that the city does, but I think that 7 or 8 months, you should be much further along with this.
Again, I established the timeline just a minute ago. We're doing it in accordance with. So I'll let you know that it's state law to do the asbestos, to your point about the engineer. And it says before any operations, maintenance, renovation, or demolition, the public building owner is required to have an asbestos survey performed. That's state law. We're complying with it. And I realize that you have 10 buildings downtown. You probably haven't done this before until I got here because I follow the law. And I'm sorry that Mr. Gilmore's not here to talk and say his piece about what happened, but...
Well, I saw Mr. Gilmore.
You're absolutely right, but we're still bringing him up. I'm ready to move this city forward, Ms. Wyatt. I would appreciate it if everybody could get on the same page.
Well, I appreciate you raising your voice to me, and that kind of is an intimidating move on your part. I am not here to cause you problems. I'm here to help, and I understand your position, and you've made it very clear to me and everybody else in this room. For the rest of you, thank you.
I do have a question for our attorney. If this building is causing damage to hers, or I would say just from the point of view of if any city buildings were causing damage to an adjacent building, what is the recourse for a property owner if the city is not acting in time to prevent or mitigate that damage?
Councilman Gill, I would have to think about that and get back to you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Move on to line item 10, discuss update on roads including Trinity Street, Bush Drive, and installation of speed bumps.
Okay, so we have had a lot of people talking about road work in Whitney, and last time we didn't really get a chance to discuss the different costs involved with road work in Whitney. But I'd like to make sure that those costs were on the table. And I had also asked about how the city could address if several property owners wanted to donate money to fix a portion of their road. And I know we included the state law, and we discussed whether we could even do that. And so I was wondering, number one, if there's an update
two, just discussion of the actual costs to repair stuff like Trinity Street. And, I think it was some folks over on Dwayne,
Oh, I'm sorry.
well, yeah, Bush, we heard about Bush, so that would be a good one to go over the costs on. And, the speed bumps was actually from someone on Dwayne Circle, because they've got a lot of kids that play out there.
Sure.
So I figured, let's throw some numbers out, that way they're on the record, and when people ask, why aren't we doing this, we can have some numbers to point to.
Sure, thank you, Council Member Teal. So as we've discussed a few times in meetings, let me give you a little bit of background here. So again, trying to get this city to move forward, the city never had established road specifications. We went out and had road specifications engineered so when we knew what we were building back, we knew what we were building back to. Because we're tired of just throwing asphalt in a hole and it washing away. So we had that done. So once we had that done, we had something that we could send to somebody and say, okay, now we need roads engineered to these standards. Actually, these quotes that we have in last month's packet were obtained before we had those standards. In last month's meeting, and I'll get back to your point, your questions about specific costs. Last month's meeting, the council approved a professional services agreement to move forward with Westwood to actually do a street analysis, an assessment. I'm happy to say that at 4 o'clock today, that assessment hit my desk. So you'll be seeing it at the next meeting, and you will know opinion and probable costs on every road in this town on what it's going to look like. I will tell you, based off of the bottom line number on that if we were to bring all of these roads back up to standard, their first estimation is just shy of $29 million. So one of the roads that we've discussed repeatedly in council meetings and in this, and that I've told the business owner several times is, I'm very certain that when we get that road assessment back, your road is going to be a priority road. It came in at number 2. It came in at number 2. So that's number 2 on the list. The opinion and probable cost on that road is just shy of $300,000, according to the engineers, to our standards. Now, that's 800 feet of road. So the quotes that we had before on trying to figure out what we were going to do with, let's just say Trinity Street, because that was brought up. We looked at trying to do multiple options where we were just going to do one block or the other block. One of the challenges, as I expressed in the last agenda item, is anything over $50,000 has to go out for bid. It's very hard to put something out for bid when you don't have road specifications. That kind of put us on the back burner a little bit on that. We did go out and ask for quotes just to see if what that looked like, right? So that's where we came across. So some of the options to fix the northern portion of that road were $77,600. To do the whole road, we're talking about 800 feet of road. And this is not built to city engineered standards. This is essentially putting a Band-Aid on a road that's going to fail again in 3 years. $105,400. Another one, just to overlay, we had a quote for just the first 310 feet of $35,600. And then the other portion of $44,000 for a total of $79,650. So yeah, the roads aren't as cheap as people would love them to be. We've been looking for options, but again, we've been putting the pieces in place to build permanent roads in this town and be good stewards of that money instead of throwing gravel down or cold mix that every time it rains, it washes away. The update on the Attorney General is we've had to find a government, head of a state government department to file that on our behalf. We actually reached out to one of our state representatives to do that for us, and it just came back and said that we have to find somebody else. So we've now reached out to one of our county officials to find out if they will submit that AG opinion for us. I guess not just anybody can ask an AG opinion. So as far as donations go, that's still where that lands. Only by statute, the only thing the city can accept donations for are parks and recreation. Anything outside of that scope, unfortunately, as a type A general law city, we can't accept donations.
There's a couple other, like epinephrine, but
Yeah.
but
the general thing is parks.
And I'm sorry, I don't remember your third question.
Well, Bush Drive and speed bumps, but I gotta ask, what was number one?
Number one was San Marcos. And San Marcos Street's gonna cost just shy of a penny to probable cost, $1.7 million. And I briefly looked at this, so I was trying to see where Trinity Street landed because I knew we were having this meeting, so.
And Bush,
Number 6,
approximate cost?
600,000. Now, let me say this about Bush. We actually engaged Commissioner Crumpton about partnering with the county. At the same time, we engaged Commissioner Holcomb about fixing the school road. The school road took a lot of priority just based off of traffic and everything else. Commissioner Holcomb is willing, Commissioner Crumpton is willing to give us the same work, interlocal agreement that we had with Commissioner Holcomb for the county to help us fix that road. So,
Which road?
Bush Drive.
Oh, Bush, okay.
So, because let me say this, the reason why Bush Drive and Hill County Road 1240 or Wildcat Drive now is a little different is because the county has a dog in the fight. They own a portion of that road. So that's why we reached out to the county commissioners to say, help us with this problem. And they've done so. It's just right now, 1240 took the priority.
And speed bumps. How much does a speed bump cost, and what does that take?
So the interesting thing about speed bumps or any traffic control device requires a traffic study to be done. Now, this city has put speed bumps in many times without doing a speed study, but there again, you're not supposed to do that for a traffic study. I cannot remember the last time that the council made action on it. The last ones that went in were on the school road. And Chris, do you remember what the price was for those?
About 3,000, he said a week.
Yeah, I think it was 14,000 for total. I don't quote me on that. I'm really trying to pull that out of the back of my memory. But those were the last ones that were installed. I will tell you, as Mr. Wilson said, they are completely ineffective.
May I make a comment about speed bumps? I don't know why that's on this same portion here, but it's my understanding from previous communities that I've worked with that police and fire typically are not fond of speed bumps because it can slow down response times in emergencies.
Well, I'll tell you, I go home that road every day, and I can promise you that those speed bumps don't stop anybody. Okay, we put the good ones in, and they were supposed to be, 15-mile-an-hour reductions.
I'm not a fan of speed bumps. I think I'm on record. I would vote no against them, but people have asked, so
Speed bumps
I'm here with roads.
Speed bumps, in my opinion, and I've worked in public works before I worked in this, are completely ineffective. Unless you put the very large asphalt humps that turn into launch ramps when you hit them fast, speed bumps are ineffective.
I have a question, and this may be more for Jennifer, but, so in regards to donations for parks and recs, we have had citizens that have showed interest in helping make the roads around our city park wider, help with the cutout of the drainage and all that. Is that something that we, as the city, be able to take as a donation?
That'd be very fact specific, but yeah, it might be associated with the park. So we can certainly take a look at that.
Did I get them all?
That's about all that I've heard about. And I suspect that since you've got that road assessment, that we'll be hearing more about that in an upcoming meeting.
Yes, we're not going to have it on the agenda for the 31st, our next Thursday meeting, just because it hit my desk so late today and we already established those packets. But it will be in the August meeting, and we will make that public for everybody to see how much roads cost to rebuild.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how much they do cost and the red tape that you gotta go through, and the only way we pay for it is with taxes and property taxes and sales tax.
Yeah, and I would like to make a point, if I may. Councilmember Teal did touch on the fact that there is a state law, there is a statute that says, if approved by the alderman, that the city will pay for 1/3 of a road and the adjoining property owners pay for the other 2/3. And it's paid out over a 5-year period. Again, that's just asking the citizens to pay for more, but it's a way that if we want to do this, it is in law. We can absolutely do that. So it's all abutting property owners. They pay 2/3, we pay 1/3, and I believe the statute says it's even payments over 5 years. But we can explore those options more, if so directed by the council, to present it more on what it looks like. I have it right here if you'd like me to read it. I presented it to you guys last month in the packet, that gigantic 374-page monstrosity. Give me 1 second. And we also talked about doing public improvement districts, but that's a tax. That's not where they pay for it. A public improvement district is a tax. So this is assessment for street improvement in a Type A general law municipality. The governing body of a Type A general law municipality, by 2/3 vote of the alderman, may improve a street or alley. The governing body shall assess the land abutting the street or alley improved under this section for 2/3 of the cost of the improvement. The municipality shall pay the other 1/3 of the cost. The municipality shall pay the entire cost up front, and then the landowner shall pay the assessment in no fewer than 5 equal annual payments. And this is in, let me find the front page here. It's in the Transportation Code, if I remember right. Transportation Code, Title 6, Subtitle E, Chapter 311. So, there are options if the citizens want to go down this path to pay for a road. Again, it's never landed fondly when I've mentioned it in the past, but it's in law. So, it's an option.
Billy, if I may, I've been served on the city council a little over a year now, and streets has been one of the biggest topics at every meeting that and I don't think I've missed any. Well, I did have the flu last Christmas. And so, yes, we have talked about streets time and time again, Ms. Teal. And I know that I'm playing my hand and presenting to all of you that I have stated before at previous meetings, I'm tired of the Band-Aid approach. We have 100+ weather down to 20 degrees weather any given 365 days. If we just fill in a little pothole with the cheapest way we can, it's gonna come back. And I am in favor of spending a little bit more money and doing it the correct way. So I'm playing my hand right now so that everybody knows where I stand. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Also, we live on a floodplain, and all that stuff washes right under that new road and washes that out.
Right, which is why we're looking at drainage and all those improvements. We have a very good, solid foundation going right now to get some very good roads built in this city and mitigate all that flooding problems. Yes, it's going to cost money. These roads are going to cost money. As I just said, just to do one street of San Marcos, and that's North San Marcos here, is $1.6 million. So it's going to cost money. There's no way around it. We get this drainage master plan done, we get these things done, these streets will be improved for generations to come, instead of just throwing some chip seal down on it like we've done in the past. So I'm excited about what the future looks like with this infrastructure that we've been laying the groundwork for over the past 2.5, 3 years.
And thank you for those updates. I know that for some of y'all this is repetitive, but we do have a lot of new residents and a lot of people that just are new to following the city. So having a lot of information discussed in an open forum is great as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you. Move on to line item 11, discuss update on brush piles set out for collection and city mulching of brush.
Same thing. We've got, concerns about brush, and there's a lot of stuff that's been discussed about what happened to the chipper shredder that the city used to have. So if we can get some background on that, update on anything that might be in the pipeline, and we'll go from there.
Sure, absolutely. So, again, I used to work in Public Works, and we did chip when I was down there, and we chipped every Wednesday, and we tried to divide the city up into quadrants. So we would do one Wednesday a month, right? We would be able to get the entire city done in a month. That was very labor intensive, which took the entire Public Works crew. We had, it took everybody, because what we saw in the city at that time, as soon as we got one quadrant chip, the very next day there was brush there. So we were never getting ahead of that, okay? Let's rewind way back to, I don't know what happened in 2008, but a lot of crazy stuff happened in this town. But they passed a resolution in 2008 that actually said that the city required brush to be bundled and the brush piles couldn't be more than 35 pounds. Okay, that was passed by the city. Nobody enforced that. Nobody. So we were chipping trees this big around. The chipper that the city had was not designed to do that. It was only designed to chop, I think it chips up to 18-inch logs. After that not being done for so long, the chipper was in very bad disrepair. And we found ourselves having to maintain that, buying new blades, taking it to the shop a lot. Not to mention the dump truck that we were pulling it with was a 2002 model and was just looking for a place to overheat. It was in very, very bad shape. Had an airline leak eventually. Once I moved out of my position, moved up to my role to help Mayor Barker in an administrative role, he and I negotiated a deal with G&B Stump Grinding to come through the city twice a month to do the chipping for us, because our equipment was just not capable of doing that any longer. That cost was $24,000 a year, or $1,000 a day. That was in 2022 when that resolution was passed to enter into that negotiation, or enter into that agreement. In 2023, we had to make some budget cuts. That was one of the things that had to come off the budget, and it was a very long and hard debate to figure out if that $23,000 was better spent elsewhere. Because, I say this to say that the service of brush pickup is already provided by Republic. It's part of the trash bill. But nobody's ever really followed it, because just like the resolution, most of the time they require it either be bagged or bundled. And there's always been a pushback of, we can't bundle it. We can't do this, we can't bag it, we can't whatever. So there's always been that little bit of a resistance. So in 2023, when we were doing the budget, we decided that that's what we're gonna have to start getting used to doing, is Republic's gonna have to pick the brush up. All right, 2024, still not working out. People have brush everywhere. Heck, it's 2025 and it's still everywhere. One of the other things that Republic offers as part of your paid trash service is access to the landfill 4 times a year. Well, they were only opening the landfill once a quarter to the citizens of Whitney. So that means everybody had to go on the first Saturday of the month once a quarter. The mayor and I negotiated with Republic, and we established a program with them that you can go to City Hall and get a landfill pass for the first Saturday of any month 4 times a year. So you're able to go now the first Saturday of the month to get rid of bulk items, trash items, all that stuff. And that's included in your service. So as a measure for us to yes, it scaled back city services, and yes, it scaled back, but it was a matter of funding for the 2023 budget that we had to cut that out. And frankly, it was costing Public Works more than $24,000 a year to maintain the equipment, the labor, all of that, just to go around the city and do that. And here's the real big part, okay? This is the biggest problem. We just experienced this exact same thing happen with animal control. When we had animal control, we had people from all throughout the county coming into the city to drop off their animals. Guess what happened with brush? The same thing. They would find a vacant lot somewhere, come in the middle of town, and drop off that brush, and never be seen again. That was very frequent. So there's always another option that people ask is, well, why can't we take it out to the old dump? Well, let me be clear about this. The city does not have a dump. We do not. And because what happened is we did try to let people have access to that to dump their brush. Next thing you know, guess what we have out there? Couches, mattresses, TVs, all this other stuff. Also, the TCEQ really doesn't like you burning anything. So you have to call them and get a permit to burn brush, even if it's in the city. Not to mention all the people that call City Hall and complain every time that brush pile got lit off. It's a health hazard. So there's no good answer to this. I've asked Republic multiple times if they have a claw truck, and that was kind of what instigated the negotiation. They don't have one. They're looking at trying to expand that capabilities. I did make it clear that when our contract ends with the Republic and we go out for more contracts, that will be a stipulation in the contract that you have a brush capability, a claw truck to pick these things up. So that's a lot of words to say, not a lot has changed. We still don't have the capabilities to do it right now through Public Works. Republic is the best option to get rid of that stuff.
When it's a small, when it's a small quantity, I realize I've seen the piles too. Some are in my own neighborhood, not my yard. Can you not at least take a portion, break up, put in our bin each week?
Yeah, absolutely.
I realize that's physically hard for some of our older folks, and I live alone. I don't want to have to do it either. But can we at least week by week cut up? Not all of us fill our trash bin to the very top.
What I would suggest, council member, is I would say reach out to Republic because they control what they pick up and what they don't, and see what they say. I think I have it right here. I'm sorry, I think I brought it. So the on-call bulk and brush collection for the city is the last Wednesday of each month, and you have to call Republic to schedule that. The citizens. So, and they'll pick up to 4 cubic yards of bulk or brush. And then again, I'll say that each first Saturday of the month, you can come and get a landfill pass.
And a vest, and a hard hat.
We even have vests and hard hats because it's required. We have them. We purchased them for you guys to be able to use. You just sign them out. If you don't bring them back, we bill you on your water bill. But we have them readily available. So we try to think of anything that would prevent anybody from using this pass, and we have you set up. It's been utilized, I think, 5 times. Because we have to track it, right? Because you can only go 4 times a year. So that was one of the things in the negotiation, that we'll track how many times they go, and it's been very underutilized.
So I need to do a live stream of getting a pass and taking stuff up to the brush or up to the dump.
I mean, I put mine at the curb and call them, and I pick it up.
Well, I'm just talking about awareness.
Some people don't. Yeah.
And we've tried multiple times through multiple different avenues. It's been in the paper multiple times. We've tried social media several times. We've done everything. I don't know how else we get the information out. Live stream.
But not everybody has access to that either.
Yeah.
Right. But it does help sometimes.
All right, line item 12, deliberate and act on approving a special event Culpeper Meriwether Circus.
That's down at the city park.
It's the field right outside the city park, where the city owns that property, except for that last little parcel at the very front. All that property right there.
When is this for? October 12th.
Oh, now I see it on the back page, sorry. I thought I would see it on this part.
I make a motion to approve a special events permit for the Chamber of Commerce to use the soccer fields for the Meriwether Circus.
I'll second. Amy?
Yes?
Vicky?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes, ma'am.
And Valerie?
Yes.
There's a catch to that, we're gonna have a 3-ring circus and we are all volunteers.
Okay, sure.
Why not? Line 13, deliberate and act on approving a special permit, event permit by the Lake Whitney Chamber of Commerce for the 50th Annual Pioneer Days and the closing of all necessary downtown streets.
Make a motion to accept, to act and approve special events permit for the Lake Whitney Chamber of Commerce for the 50th annual Pioneer Day and closing of all necessary downtown streets.
And I'll second.
And I just have a question because it's come up several times on, vendor booths being limited to various people. How is the chamber handling that? When we have, if there's 2 or 3 people that wanna sell honey or whatnot, and
They can put up what they want.
That's the chamber business, not the
Chamber
county
business.
business.
so we have no assurance from the chamber that vendors, or that local vendors will have an equal
Well, they have to have a
opportunity.
permit, but yes, they can put what they want. We're
Okay.
not,
You're not,
we're not limited.
you're not limited
on
on how
we're not
many
limited
people or how.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
limited
okay.
we're not.
All
But
right,
they have to have a permit. If they don't have a permit, like in the past that we've had problems,
okay.
And-
they
and
will be asked to leave.
I'd like to point out that permit is not the city's permit, correct?
Yes, that's
No.
correct, it's not.
Okay.
There is not a conflict of interest between the council and the chamber.
Right, thank you.
So
I-
the motion, Valerie, I'm
I
sorry.
just wanna say, you know, it's kind of the same thing that I mentioned with the farmer's market. I don't mind closing down streets so that people can use them. But I do have concerns when council does not have the ability to help make sure that there is an equal opportunity of who gets to use the streets on these events. So that's why I bring this up, and that's why, you know, I have not read the guidelines for the chamber thing, so I'll be abstaining on this. But the concerns have been voiced, so I'm sharing them here.
Okay, so, you're abstaining. Like that, okay, Vicky?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
And Valerie?
Yes.
We've got 3 yeses, 1 abstain, motion passes.
Okay.
Chamber service.
October 12th. Executive session, 7:19, we'll go into executive session. If during the course of the meeting covered by this notice, the city council should determine that a closed or executive meeting or session of the city council or consultation with the attorney for the city should be held or is required, in such closed or executive meeting or session or consultation with an attorney as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551001, etc., will be held by the city council at the date, hour, and place given in this notice, as the city council may conveniently meet in such closed or executive meeting or session, or consult with the attorney. Who wrote this?
We'll rewrite it.
For the city concerning any and all subjects for any and all purpose permitted by the act, including but not limited to the following. And we're gonna go in for, Texas Government 551-074, discuss personnel matters to hear complaints against personnel. Oh, administrative assistant position and ES director position.
I'll be off tomorrow. We'll be up next week. See what we can do.
If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm doing our training meeting contract and I was having bouncing it back and forth on any changes.
Okay, guys, so the way I always do this is I let the camera run, and you get to hear all the gossip while we go back there, and this will keep anything that happens outside after executive session in one long video. So, yeah, share a joke or something in the comments. I'll see you guys later.
The meeting was at the same time as your meeting, because you said, oh yeah, there's the meeting. So when I left, I was like, I'll be there 15 minutes. Yes, just, you don't need that case. No, you gotta do that. Yeah, we just need a roster. Also, I don't know if you guys have statements of everything.
This is where we.
You do, okay, if you give me that. So then we've changed things since you took over. Probably don't know if I can get, maybe, I'll probably, so I'm not sure what we can get from the old receipt. Let's see what you can do. Basically, we're trying to do a complete audit. That way, December, last time, this time, we had, we're going to session. Oh, I thought we were. Okay. That way, December, we'll start everything, everything in the past. Like you said, recommend, you know, so I was like, okay. That happens. Somebody else is like, look at it, not right. We're good. So I want to get everything done so we can move forward.
Here's my one concern. Mr. Johnson. That's all right. When I came to the meeting, when you were talking, I told you, I had all the time, and he fired off. Look, that guy's got to move on. I know he's a cop. Okay? That bully tactic, and I take it as he was bully tactic. And I know you're trying to get it when it's not that adversary. You're not going to talk him down. Immediately when he did that, and if you notice, I went into defense of that. I don't understand.
And the same thing with,
You know what, Ken was a lot better than normal.
Honestly, he's been a lot better since the, so, I don't know if you noticed that or anybody said it.
Well, unfortunately,
He just had to wait in the world and show his
so unfortunately, like that, I don't get to make it how many meetings. We were just blessed class 2 was 2 because of our meeting this one. Well, like I said, to me, we initially were talking, he finds out, maybe that started that. We'll see you later. And you want to put bow up? I'll bow up too, because I'm not sure you know what I'm
because everybody doesn't do it, everybody else is just, and then we can come out and say, hey, this is what we discussed. Some of it,
Oh, well.
you can publicly,
You've got a place to put it
We're used to it, we stick with just that stuff, we get back to this.
There's a satellite dish up there now.
One of those, what, keep it in towers, you guys have, yeah. I've got to, and I'm probably have paperwork, but it was part of.
and just like all
Boy
fire
Scouts,
chiefs, they're all.
The Boy Scouts get it's mostly they have radio merit back. Not just the chief, it's just a bunch out to go through.
Yeah, that's true.
Amateur radio, somebody to get.
So
My son
it's
actually
like,
made it from Tiger
that's
Pass,
what I deal
the very
with.
first
So,
one, all the way to the
That was on the
And my other one started.
that kind of started. condition we were talking about, we found out, like, dude, can we go like the side B, because we volunteer.
I was the advancement
My
chair.
mother was, we volunteer our time to serve the kids.
The little ones?
It's like,
Denmark.
you know, it ain't like you're paying me. If you're paying me, you might tell me where I need to be.
Oh, yeah.
That many balls.
It's
Back when I was young, it was a big thing. There is one in Hillsborough.
I'm
See,
actually
and that's what I
looking
was
at
wondering.
They do have a scout
set up
rate
like
thing.
different areas where we can get out and try to get more volunteers.
I'm hoping it.
I know this is something after.
And I don't know where.
I'm sorry. They
Well,
have
back
their
in Girl
own.
Scouts.
Yeah.
Maybe
They
a
have
time
their
that
own.
we should
And they
do
can
that.
mirror the.
Probably could.
the
I don't know, I think people come out.
Oh, Pioneer Days?
Yes.
It's all day Saturday, all night. I mean, it's.
Although we did have the cookie mirror badge. And we got
In the meeting area, would that be a good event?
But I think I made it to be a
Try
week
to
long.
boost up
And
the
that was as
volunteers
far
for
as
the
I
fire.
went.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't want to just say, hey, we can do it, because then you also have.
And then-
Outlet before you, Lakeview, and Cedar Creek.
See, I kind of seen, and well, I was in Dallas.
But there is a pretty good.
You know, so we got all those there,
Oh,
and
I've
I
seen
wanna
their,
make sure that we.
trailer, it's on the way to go
Get
to
the
Walmart.
numbers up.
But it
There's
also
like a
actually
church
is a
building.
building to get out
The
there.
church
And
owns
let the
that
people
building,
know
I'm thinking, let's
where their
see.
tax dollars go.
Because we're gonna do one of
The
our.
other issue I have with
pickup
this,
lines out in that
I'm so busy.
That goes
And
into summer.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah,
can't
yeah.
have
the
our
other
antennas
information that I really want to have out
We're
there.
trying to come to church.
If you really want to know the truth.
Yeah, well, we've had here in this building, but this time we were actually in Boston.
No
Yes.
offense, I'm not aging anybody, but if he's out there and he's grumpy.
We have a great evening.
Or he's out there and young kids are not, that's what we need. We need young people in the thirties.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
It takes a whole lot.
So.
to get it together.
I wanna do that.
Anything else already?
Yeah, like Saturday for me, Saturday for me is like, yeah, I'm gonna dress down. So, and I have a normal job that I do here, and then the ESP. So between all three of those, it becomes very. Sometimes they don't. You just say, like, I work 7 days.
As they say, it's other.
My last vacation was last year.
Day here, y'all let it.
And it was a week of, your fault for that. I think that's vacation, 61st. So, my wife's making it.
Oh, and I was gonna ask y'all, if y'all ever.
But yeah,
get to-
if that's something we can do, because what I like to do
Dry
is,
season,
I'd like to
fall
actually
season,
ask for
if
some
you
of
wanna
the
set up
partners
anything at the farmer's
to come
market,
in,
we will
like we
publicize
fund
it,
it,
get people to
Yeah.
bring
we help them
donations
get
to
whatever they need to
farmer's
get there or pay for it, and then have.
You have that water?
market, yeah, just have that water
See,
right
that's not
now,
very
it's one
wide,
part.
but I'm
So
thinking,
it would be like,
like,
hey,
This area.
yeah, exactly, have them out there, you know, so if that's a good idea, I mean, I'll put it on the agenda. Okay.
This week
If you
we're
give me a
advertising,
flyer or
we're
something,
doing farmer's
for
market
Patty
plus
Days,
event celebration, we
okay.
have cake,
Because
kids come down in the
I
shop.
am not, and here's the thing
And
about
then
me,
August
is
2nd,
I'm not gonna try
we're
to
going
punish
to
you and
kids.
just point out what's
You
wrong
know,
without
we
trying to
have
fight
a
it.
kids business.
So I'm not gonna come to you with a problem, say, here's your problem, see ya, I'm gonna try and come to you with a problem, and if I can, I might just bring a problem, but I'm gonna try my damnedest to bring it both. If I have a problem, I'm still looking for an answer, even if I ask you, because you may have an answer to my problem,
Message me or
but I'm
whatever.
still gonna try to
And I
help you
can-
find an answer. So, the volunteer problem,
You did-
we
you
have
did my
throughout everywhere, even, it's not even just me.
Way back there, that's right, yeah.
I wanna find a way to
Yeah,
solve
that
it
was,
in our area.
because
So,
we opened
don't think I'm hitting you guys up.
Oh, no.
Well, I am, but I wanna fix the problem. I don't
We
wanna.
started painting in June of 2020. Oh, that's the new. We're about to repaint.
Okay, cool.
Just to try to freshen
And
it
then
a little
he'll probably be
bit.
able to tell you a little bit more,
Yeah, it's
but
been a.
you came to our new facility.
But seriously, Tony.
Yeah, I'm talking about the English school being there.
Yes.
So, cause used to we had it at college for all lost in college.
Or we lost two, we lost the girl.
Yeah.
So that really pissed me off. I don't know what we had last year.
Let me go through this weekend with the bench first.
There you go.
Cake at 10 a.m.
Problem is, you're going into
Free
the
cake.
teacher's classroom, and we had some technical issues with PowerPoints. That's the only thing you have to get.
No, we're
You have
ready.
to get
Listen,
PowerPoints.
I already in the budget.
Okay.
The only thing I wanna make sure of is that, did you go into the big green building?
No, I didn't.
Oh, but you
Cause
seen
I,
it?
cause I was holding off to go
Okay.
into the
Oh,
exam.
that's right. But you seen it in the big, okay, so that big green building, we're trying to get it all spray out, the foam that was on there before came down. Get it spray foam, AC in there. And there's 3 rooms in there, but the whole building would be available for, because they were talking about having somewhere to eat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a huge area, and then also the yellow building.
that's another, I think that's 2,000 square foot, and the other was like 4,000 square foot. So plenty of room. The classrooms is the only thing, you know, we're gonna do the PowerPoint and everything all in there. Make sure.
That's why I was looking for the PowerPoint classroom. And it'd be perfect, it'd be a perfect spot. I'll be.
Did you go by there?
No, I'm going this next year.
Okay.
With help.
I've
I've been to the TV.
He gets to be my representative since I gotta be here.
I've been to the fire construction, setup before. I've been out there, I used to work at Bill 40 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with what it looks like.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so when we do get out there, and this is what I tell everybody, if you have any suggestions, let me know. I don't want this to be an ESD thing. I know how things were before. Just ESD and we own it and screw everybody up. Different mentality. I want you guys' input because when I start construction, I don't know if we should have did this, and I'm gonna go son of a gun. Just like thinking about those fire trucks. Good, bad, or indifferent. If they had asked other people's opinions on it, maybe they would have came up with something different than buying 3 for a bit. So yeah, so when you get out there, don't feel like you have an idea.
We're gonna make a list of things that just for the county schools that we'd like to have.
Yes. Yeah, we already planned on putting the Wi-Fi throughout the entire building. It's already there, but actually making it so there's a Ethernet cord, putting in screens as far as in every classroom, maybe in 1 or 2 of them we might have a smart board, and then being able so they can just hook up their computer and go to town. And then we look at the different tables. I want this to be professional. I want to be able to, honestly, if you guys want to do it twice a year, if you guys want to, help us, because the building is paid for, the utilities are the only thing, and I want to do upgrades with it. So for me, it's like, hey, if we bring in other people, our intent is to have nobody else signing. If they're ambulance or fire, or even the sheriff or whatnot, they're the government entity in Hill County, they don't pay for that. But if they're outside, we want to have at least a little bit of something so we can start adding. All that money will go into that building. Not, it's going to sit in the ESD's back. Nope. It's going to go into improving and making the building even better for the next classes. So.
Good.
Yeah, it's a big project, I mean, but we're making that way. It's only been 6 months. I feel like it's been 5 years.
That's the contract.
Yes. I'm waiting on our lawyer to get back up with me. He said, yeah, I need it to you, so I'm going to have to talk to him tomorrow. But I also want to review it, and I'm actually I'm going to make changes to the VFD contracts and that contract at the same time. Okay. So how everything done before is you guys get a contract with somebody, right? I know about that. So I want to put it in there. That way, you guys sign the same contract. We've been change, and now you can read it and say exactly what you're providing for.
Okay, guys, we're out of executive session. Make sure you check out the library calendar too. Okay, there.
We are adjourned at 7:34.
Enjoy your vacation.
Yes. Oh, thank you. It took me like 5 seconds to realize.
What is it exactly that you do if it's not part of this one? Which one? You?
I do art.
Yeah. Well, that one.
I do art. I have an RV car.
No residential.
Oh, for solar?
Yeah.
I do work with somebody that does residential also.
Okay.
So if you're interested,
Because I've got my own solar.
I'm here for now. Super handy.
I just got my bill, mine's $75.
So the problem with a lot of people is if they're not the wrong solar person, they screw them over.
Oh, I know.
And you have to understand the language, so.
Well,
make
you
it
have
explain
to
it.
be on, some of the people here are on, co-op. I'm not.
Right.
So, some of the people are, some of the, it's just mixed. It's better than but it's not as good as a deal like you get with
Even with the current, you have the batteries in the right way, you can do it.
one thing that I used to use
Yeah,
was Energy Over. Have you ever heard of it? They are a company that
Don't walk me the restroom, Billy.
And I pay
My wife.
but when I went to solar, they don't do it. They said it's too complicated.
And you know how well it works.
I didn't know if your company did something. I'm looking for somebody.
I am on your way.
I'm looking for somebody like Energy Over. I paid them a $10 monthly fee.
Yeah, we mostly do a commercial, but the one guy that I did work with, when I got electricity from my home, I had him look at it, and he told me, we pull out the top, and this is leave the solar on.
It used to be simple. I used to could do it myself, but they've all, there's so many, you know, in between 500 kilowatt or whatever it is, it changes dramatically. If you don't know exactly what you need.
Right. Yeah.
And it got so hard I couldn't figure it out, so I paid them $10 to do it for me, to make sure they got the best deal that was out there for my particular need. And I didn't know if y'all offered something like that.
No.
I was hoping.
Yeah, no.
But when I went to solar, they said, oh, we don't do solar, it's even more complicated. I said, I know.
You just need to go to
I'm
BJ's.
trying to find what's the best plan for me individually, you know.
Yeah, the lucky that you're never gonna go down.
I know.
Yeah, just kind of, and with everybody moving in here,
That's one thing I've done, is I've locked in my
Actually
electric
went.
bill to what my system
with.
costs.
Exactly.
And instead of paying an electric bill, I have a solar.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, now, Greg Brown.
All right.